What's up, gangsters? Today, I want to talk to you about bidding on jobs or otherwise providing estimates for your work. As you move through your career, clients are going to be asking you to provide estimates or otherwise bid on their jobs. And because they tend not to be very forthcoming with their budgets, they're trying to see whether or not you slot in based on your estimation of how long something is going to take and how much it's going to cost to how much they have budgeted for color when they were bidding on a project. A client might come to you and say, hey, we have this much money for color. Is this a number you can work with? This can be good because you kind of know how much you're going to get paid for the work that you're going to deliver. If the budget is on the lower side, then you've got some things to think about, like how thorough of a job can I do for this budget? Because the danger becomes if they've only got 2 hours of your time worth of budget, but you spend 8 on that project in an attempt to impress them, or maybe it's a client you're trying to land in the future, you've just provided 4 times the work for a quarter of the budget. And that could become what they're going to consider their base level expectation for money spent. But I think you can overcome this by doing 2 things. One, you can either not take the job because it's beneath how much you're willing to take for that work. Or what I would recommend is you have a conversation with that client that sets a ceiling for the expectation. And you can say things like, I would love to continue this relationship in the future. And when your budget is a little bit larger, we can do much more in the color suite than what we can do on this project. But I really want to keep this relationship going by being transparent with you about value for dollar. Because now you've got an opportunity to educate this new client about how much color and finishing actually costs, so that when they are doing the bidding process for their own work, they can make adjustments to their color and finishing line item, and then you can be more fairly paid for your work moving forward. That's how harmonious relationship starts. But you got to be transparent, build that trust, do great work at the beginning on a small project perhaps, and then move on to larger projects where they know that they can trust you. They know the turnaround's going to be fast and good, and that their client's going to be happy, because at the end of the day, that's what all this is about. The other version of this is that they've got a project and maybe it's got some cut downs, and they're trying to get an estimate for how much this is going to cost. There's a few ways to do this. If it's under NDA, it makes it a little bit harder. But if it's not, then you can ask for what's called a screener. And a screener is really just the project as it stands right now in editorial, knowing it's not a locked edit, and they're going to send it to you so that you can provide a more accurate estimate for how much work you anticipate needs to be done to this project to meet their level of expectation. And then you're going to tell them what you would charge for that. So a really good way to do this is to bring that screener into Resolve, get it on a timeline, and get it cut up. You're going to know how many shots there are, generally speaking. You're going to understand how much work needs to be done and what you need to do to deliver what they expect you to do. Once you've got your shot count, you can bring that number into an Excel file and calculate how much to charge based on number of shots. So let's take a look at mine. Now, it's fairly simple, but if you guys are really jamming on this, then I can leave the link to mine in the description, but just leave a comment below if you want it, and I'm happy to give it to you. To break this down, we've got number of shots, the time we're going to spend per shot, our total time we're going to spend on the project, our hourly rate broken down into minutes, and what our total estimate is going to be. So since we brought our screener into Resolve and we've cut it up and discovered, oh shit, this is only 18 shots, but it's a really nice commercial. So I'm going to give myself 15 minutes to spend on each shot so that it doesn't look like a bag of ass by the time we're done. That is going to give us a total time of 270 minutes, which comes out to what? What is that? That's 4.5 hours, I think. Double check that though, because I failed math twice in college, so. And that is going to give us a total estimate of $1,125.90 before any revisions. Now, if you're anticipating a mountain of notes because there's 15 people on the email chain who will undoubtedly leave all their feedback in email form rather than Frame.io, which is the way you sent it, then you might want to pad this number a little bit to protect your own sanity. Oh my God, the stories I could tell you. Save that for another video. So another example, maybe this is a documentary and it's 1,100 shots and we're gonna give ourselves 2 minutes to work on each shot because it's shot really well from a director and a DP who knew what the fuck they were doing. That's gonna give us an estimate of 2,200 minutes. I'm not even gonna try to do the math on that, but that's gonna give us a total estimate of $9,174. Now, are you going to get $9,174 for a documentary? I don't know. It's important to remember that this is just an estimate, and you need to take into account how many revisions might happen, or how many of you've agreed to. How difficult of a client is this? Are they going to have the brand and the agency involved in the review process? And that really could inflate this time considerably. Or if they're really cool, it might just reduce it. The point is, now you've got a number that your client is not going to be surprised by once your invoice comes in. Now, how do you come up with your time per shot? Well, you can only really do this by experience, and you only get experience by actually working on projects. But what you can do is your phone has a timer app, right? So what you can do is open up a project and get everything set up, and then start to work, start your timer. And then after that, don't think about this timer whatsoever. Just do your work, finish the shot. Once you're done that shot, just hit lap. Go on to the next shot. Work on it, get it right, move on to the next shot, hit lap. Now, it seems really rudimentary, but what you're going to get is a summary on this side, which is basically the split times, or how long you spent on each shot. Take all those times, find the average. Now you've got an average shot time that you can enter into that cell. And it's based on real world applications, so you're not just plucking a number out of the air and saying, oh yeah, I think we're going to spend 2 minutes per shot. You might be surprised about how little time 2 minutes per shot actually is. But now you've pulled real numbers from an actual project, and now you've got a data set from which to pull an average from, which is going to give you an estimation that's way more accurate. This little spreadsheet is a very quick and efficient way to get some estimations as to how long and how much to charge for your projects. Hope you got something out of this one. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.